Henry, give me this line. They're both negative here. X is less than -1. Both of these things are negative. What's the absolute value of a negative thing?
The negative.
The opposite of it, the negative of it. So we write
-2 times x plus 1 plus x minus 3.
So he took the opposite of this. He took the opposite of this. Let's go to the easy one. The positive. Out here where they're both positive. When x is bigger than 3, they're both positive.
2 times the quantity x plus 1 minus the quantity x minus 3.
Because the absolute value of positive things are themselves. The absolute value of this is just itself. We just left it alone. Now in the middle case, the x minus 3, this is the one that's negative, and this one's positive. So what do we get in the middle?
2 times the quantity x plus 1 plus the quantity x minus 3.
Notice he just took the opposite of the negative and became plus. That happened on both of these steps, because the x minus 3 was negative to the left of 3. When we're less than 3, that was negative. So we took the opposite of it and became positive. And let's just do one of them. Do the middle one. Henry, what's the middle one? Final answer, middle.
3x minus 1.
And you need to do the whole thing, but we're not going to. I think that's visual. Okay? Awesome. Here's the slope formula. This is preview of the derivative when we take the limit as the bottom gets close to 0, it's called the derivative. Well, we're heading that direction. So we have the slope function. We have f of x. I'm going to rewrite it. F of triangle is triangle squared plus the opposite of 3 triangles. So Tyree, this one. Who is it? Math. This one right here. Okay? Go ahead.
X squared minus 3x minus quantity c squared minus 3c over x minus c.
Awesome. Now these problems amazingly simplify. They simplify. And it's not simple algebra to do it. But we have an x minus c on the bottom. What we need to get is an x minus c on top. Same thing is going to happen over here. We're going to have an h on the bottom. We're going to need to factor not an h on top, and they'll cancel. So our goal is to get an x minus c factored out on top. So what you have to recognize is that these guys together, difference of squares, x plus c, x minus c. These guys together, you pull a -3 out, and you have an x minus c kind of thing. So we're going to rewrite the top in the order x squared minus c squared plus -3x plus 3c. The bottom stayed the same. So we're getting there. We're going to do it in a couple steps. This x squared minus c squared, I write as what? My goal is to get an x minus c. You should recognize this as difference of squares. So this is x plus c, x minus c, plus. Now, this is only helpful if I can get an additional x minus c. So that's my hint. I know I need an x minus c there. So what do I pull out of this so I'm left with an x minus c, Matt? Or what can I multiply back in so that this becomes that? It's the same question. What goes right here so that when I multiply it, I'm back to that?
-3.
That's it. Now, I'm going to claim that these are equal because f of x is x squared minus 3x. F of c is c squared minus 3c, x minus c. So these are the same. I just rearranged x squared minus c squared minus 3x, negative is plus 3c. So these are the same. Now this is the same as that, plus this is the same as that. So what do we do now? Do you recognize what we do now?
You cancel out x minus c.
Yeah, I cancel it out. You might take an intermediate step and pull an x minus c way to the side on the top, leaving with x plus c plus -3. And then they cancel. So the final answer is x plus c minus 3. Okay, Tyree, who's next?
Kevin?
Kevin. This one, next line.
X plus h squared minus 3x plus h in the parentheses minus x squared minus 3x over h.
Did I do what you meant? Okay, we plug x plus h into the function. We did to f something. In this case, it's to square it minus 3 times it. So we square it minus 3 times it. These minus signs match up. Just copying them. F of x is x squared minus 3x. Okay, expand this out. What do we get? Expand that.
Would be x squared plus h squared.
That's a common mistake. But you have to remember.
Oh yeah,
X plus h times x plus h, first, outside, inside, last.
plus 2xh plus h squared, and then minus 3x minus 3h minus x squared plus 3x.
Perfect. Anything cancel?
The 3x and the x
The-
squared.
3x, the x squared. Anything else? Perfect. Now, what happens now?
I pull an h out of
Pull an h out of the top. We have h, we have 2x plus h minus 3 over h. And
the cancel the h.
h is canceled, so the final answer is 2x plus h minus 3. Here the final answer is x plus c minus 3. And here was 2x plus h minus 3. Notice, as h goes to 0, as the bottom goes to 0, and you don't have to do this, I'm just giving you a preview of the derivative. As h goes to 0, this is 2x minus 3. Here, to make the bottom go to 0, we have to have the x becoming c. The x becomes c, or the c becomes x in effect. And we get 2c minus 3, or 2x minus 3. Getting the same thing. So, awesome. Next.
Henry?
Henry, find the family of lines through 3, -3 that are parallel to 2x plus 3y is 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thoughts?
Find the slope of the line.
Okay, go.
So 3y equals negative 2x plus 5. And divide by 3, so y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5/3. And then use
So, therefore, our slope has got to be
negative 2/3.
negative 2/3. Okay? So the slope goes from here down to over 3. Find the family of lines through that, parallel to that. That's sort of a silly question. I think I did a bad job writing this problem. Because 2x plus 3, 5, by the way, this particular line goes through 5/3. Goes through here, it has the same slope. So here it is. What's the equation of this line, Henry? Point slope form. Point slope form. Y minus y sub 1 equals x minus x sub 1. You have a point, you have a slope. This is the form to go with.
So y minus negative 3 equals negative 2/3 times x minus 3.
Okay? And that's no family. That's just one line. That's a small family. It's one person. Okay? There's only one line that goes through 3, -3 that's parallel to 2x plus 3y is 5. How about if I change the problem and not parallel to 2x plus 3y equals 5? So I want all through here except it can't be parallel to that line. How do I change this?
Change the negative 2/3 to m, and then give it the condition that m does not equal negative 2/3.
Almost missing one thing. This is as hard as it gets. Or the family could be the vertical line x equals 3. You want to specifically say that line. because this does not allow for a vertical line in this form. Point slope form does not allow for vertical lines, but the vertical line was legit. It's a line through 3, -3, which is not parallel. So now it's a family thing. That's more reasonable. Okay, this one I think is a little bit different. Let's graph it. A lot of times graphing this at the beginning will help make things easier. Square root curve looks like that. Y with -y flips it over the x-axis, so it's actually going this way. What do I do? I think I must have miscopied my thing. That problem's nonsense. Anyone know why it's nonsense? If I graph this, the graph of it is right here. That's all there is to it. So does it make sense to use that when x is less than -1? There'd be no curve there, right? There'd be no curve there. So I'm going to throw a negative in here, change the problem. So I've taken the curve, and not only have I flipped it over the x-axis, I flipped it over the y-axis as well. And the curve's back here, -1, -1. Here I'm at. Here is where it is. That curve is not there anymore. That makes more sense. 1/4 x plus 4. The slope is, it goes up 1 over 4, and it comes back. This was open circle down here, if I'd done it correctly. This is a closed circle at -1, comma 15/4. You guys follow that? Because I had -1/4 plus 16/4, -1, comma 15/4. Okay? Does this pass the vertical line test? Is it a function? Does it pass the horizontal line test? Does it have an inverse? Yes, it does, but it's the first one we've had that hasn't been connected up. Okay? Just be aware. The first one we've had that hasn't been connected up. Now, when I do the inverse of this, I'm going to be flipping it across the line. This is somewhere over here. I'm going to flip it across, so this is actually going to go this way, and this is going to, instead of -1 15/4, it's 15/4 -1, and it's going to look like that. That's the graph of the inverse. Okay? All right, whose problem is it?
It is.
Matt, back to you. Okay, lucky you. Okay, this first one, we had y is the opposite of the square root of -x. We draw a line and we get x is the opposite of the square root of -y. We multiply both sides by -1. We square both sides. So y is the opposite of x squared. Notice this is the opposite of x squared. You see it? So f -1 of x is the opposite of x squared if such and such is true. The other one, we had originally y is 1/4 x plus 4. Draw the line. What do I write next?
Would it be the opposite of -x squared?
If you take -x times -x, the negatives cancel. So you can think of it as being 3 negatives, so it become 1 negative at the end. You agree? Okay, this one. What do I do next?
X equals 1/4 y plus 4.
Now what? Trying to get to y alone.
X minus 4 equals 1/4 y.
So y is
4x minus 16.
perfect. Okay, Mac, you get first shot. Now be real careful. The graph could help you a lot. This point is -1, -1. When we flipped it, the key spot was -1, -1. This point was negative 1 15/4. When we flipped it, the key spot was 15/4 negative 1. Okay? 15/4 negative 1. So the inverse, which is up here in blue, it's right here, blue, blue, there's the inverse, is the opposite of x squared if x
is less than -1.
perfect. And it's 4x minus 16 if x,
Is greater than or equal to 15/4.
that's correct. Notice the inverse was not defined for any x values between negative 1 and 15/4 because they're never going to happen, right? It never happened. They never happened. That's how we do those problems. Okay, well done. Last one, I'm just going to knock it out so you have a couple minutes to work. I'm going to factor in e to the negative x out. We have x squared minus 4x minus 5 is 0. E to the negative x, this factors very easily into x minus 5x plus 1. I have the product of three different things is 0. The only way things can multiply together and get 0 is if one of them is 0. So therefore, e to the negative x is 0, which is impossible. Or x minus 5 is 0, which happens when x is 5. Or x plus 1 is 0, which happens when x is negative 1. So 5, negative 1, solution set, done. Done. Thank you. You guys have 5 minutes to work.